Everybody, so sorry for the delay. I've been trying to figure out my technical stuff of setting up both my phone and my computer for Facebook Live and the Instagram Live, and I was running into some hiccups. So anyway, I'm here. Basically today, I want to kind of start a Tip Tuesday. So it might not be every Tuesday, but I'm going to do my best. And I asked everybody on my personal Instagram yesterday what they wanted to hear about, and that was digestive health. So I gave people the choice between allergies, which we can talk about another time, and digestive health. So I came up with a little guide again to give you guys, which I will be posting later with the copy of this video. And there's a lot of things that we can talk about with digestive health. It's a huge, huge part of everybody's health. So as a naturopathic medical doctor, I spend a lot of time working on my patients' digestive health because, 80 to 90% of our immune system is in our gut, as well as our neurotransmitters and everything that affects our brain and basically like how we're functioning. So basically, gut health is very, very important. And I just wanted to start with a few basic tips that I give a lot of my patients. One of those is, of course, which a lot of people have heard, is being mindful. So making sure that you're sitting still and ready to eat and really thinking about the eating process really affects how you digest. So one of the biggest things is just kind of don't eat in your car, which I'm guilty of a lot of times, but just try to sit still and be ready to eat. And then from there, one of the next big things that I give a lot of patients is enhancing your digestion. So it's really important that we have the proper digestive juices to be able to digest our food. And in our stomach and our gallbladder and pancreas and all this stuff, we have all of these wonderful juices, but depending on how we're eating, whether it's the on-the-go idea or if we're drinking a lot of liquids, especially cold liquids when we're going to eat, we're diluting those digestive juices, and then we're not able to break down our foods as well. So it's really important to make sure, I always recommend my patients and myself to not really drink any liquids while you're eating. It can be warm liquids. Those are a little bit easier and it doesn't dilute things as much, but just try to avoid it while you're eating so that you can keep that potency of your digestive juices. The next thing with the digestive juices is stimulating them. So I like to use something called bitters. Those are typically herbs that are, as they sound, they're bitter. And what it's going to do is stimulate your digestive juices more. So it's going to stimulate your gallbladder to contract and release some of those digestive enzymes. And hey, Tom. It's going to help everything break down even further. So there's different ways you could do it. There's some herbs that I recommend to my patients, and we can have a whole talk on digestive bitters if people want. But you can do the herb side, or a lot of people will use apple cider vinegar because it's also very bitter. You don't want to take it by itself. You want to make sure that it's diluted in water. So I usually recommend my patients take either a teaspoon to a tablespoon and about 4 ounces of water, depending on your taste preference, and to have that 5 to 15 minutes before lunch and dinner. So when we first wake up in the morning, we're pretty much in that parasympathetic, which is rest and digest state, and you want to kind of stay in that state. So I don't recommend doing the bitters for breakfast, but once we get into lunch and dinner, we're typically in that more sympathetic, fight or flight. We've been working and running around all day. And that's when we need to kind of remind our body to come back and be ready for digestion. So that's when I would do the bitters or the apple cider vinegar. And it will also help get your body into that rest and digest. It's stimulating your body saying, okay, it's time for food. Let's kind of calm down. So digestive support there. What else did I put on this little list? Where you're getting your food is also very important. So I highly recommend patients check out the Environmental Working Group. They come out with a Dirty Dozen Clean 15 list every year, which I put on the handout that I'll give you guys. And that is, they've tested which fruits and vegetables have the highest amount of toxins or pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, and the ones that are lower. So if patients are having a hard time affording organic produce, check out the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen and make sure that at the very least the things that you're buying that are organic are the Clean 15, or sorry, the Dirty Dozen, because those tend to be more full of pesticides and all of that. And then the other items, if you can afford it, can be more the traditional and non-organic. What else did I put on there? Does anybody have questions so far? There's so much to talk about with gut health. I think I also put on the list making sure that you add protein in every meal. So talking about blood sugar, we always want to have a nice balance between protein, carbs, and fats. But if you can make sure that there's protein in every meal, it'll help kind of maintain your blood sugar throughout the day. As well as if you're having any issues with blood sugar, there's some really interesting research that if you are able to walk moderately for about 20 minutes after a meal, it can reduce your blood sugar by about 50% because there's something called GLUT4 receptors that open up in your muscles and suck in all that sugar. So, I mean, exercise and movement is very important in general, but also while you're trying to maintain better blood sugar and better blood sugar regulation. What else did I put on this little handout? Let me find it. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop in. Eat mindfully, avoid beverages. Probiotics. There's a lot I can talk about probiotics. That can be a whole nother. Yeah. I can go into that a little bit. But just kind of jumping back, probiotics are very important just because our gut microbiome is so important. And it's actually our gut bacteria that break down our food and affect how we're using our food. So making sure that we have a good balance of the good and bad bacteria, hopefully a lot of good bacteria, and really we want a diverse amount of species. So that's where the super probiotic based foods like Nam was asking about, they can really help. So a lot of times it's anything fermented. And again, it depends on the patient. So there's some patients that maybe they have some candida overgrowth or they have some other things that we call a dysbiosis or an imbalance in the bacteria and yeast that are in the gut, and you want to be careful with the fermented foods. But for most people, stay with the fermented foods. You can help feed the good bacteria. So that's what the super probiotic foods. Sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha. There's a lot of things. So we can even do a whole nother talk just on fermented foods or for prebiotic type foods like that. So that's basically going to feed the good bacteria in the gut. Walking after meals, or doesn't Clean 15. So again, there's a lot that has to do with digestive health. I can go on and on about it, but some of the main things is, again, being mindful, stimulating your digestion properly, avoiding diluting your digestive juices, and making sure that you're moving. So I think that's about all that I wanted to say to you guys. I have a little handout that I'm going to post just to help you guys out. And of course, if there's any questions, like I said, there's so much to digestive health. It's hard to do just a short talk on it. But I wanted to give you guys kind of the foundations that I talk to a lot of my patients about. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will be posting the link for the handout in a little bit. Okay, thanks for watching. I think I can turn it off here. And live video. Bye. And then the Facebook Live. Thank you again for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.